Miss Hall.
And today you are doing notes over volume of rectangular and triangular prisms. So volume is a little bit different than surface area because now we are talking about the number of cubic units needed to fill up a given space. So we're actually filling up a space. So volume is the number of cubic units needed to fill up a space, okay? So whenever we are trying to find volume of shapes, and in particular we are doing prisms today. What you have to do, you have our formula B equals big B times H. Okay, that big B is not ever going to be a small b because that big B means that it is the area of the base. And depending on what size or what shape your base is will depend on the formula that you replace that big B with. The H is just the height of the prism. So if we go through and look at these pictures, okay, you can tell that they're pointing out the bases to you. In a rectangular prism like the one I just drew on, you can choose any of the sides to be a base. However, if you have a triangular prism, meaning that two of your sides are going to be triangles, the triangles must always be the base. Okay, so that is really important to know. That is only the case on a triangular prism, and there will be two of them. So on any type of prism, there are always two bases. Just like there were when we did surface area, any prism is going to have two bases. So let's go ahead and look at our first example. To go to the next page of your notes. It says find the volume of each prism. So the first thing you need to do is identify what you want your base to be. Typically, I choose whatever it is sitting on, again, unless it is a triangular prism, and then I choose a triangle. So I'm going to plug in. I know my H is going to be a number that is not connected to my base, so that's going to be my 11. Now my base is in the shape of a rectangle, and to find an area of a rectangle, we do base times height. So the base is going to be 15, and the height is 10. So when I come over here to do my big formula, volume equals big B times H. Okay, I'm going to plug in what my formula was for the big B, base times height, and then that second H is for the whole prism. So typically your H's will not be the same number. They're going to be two different numbers. So if I plug in, I have 15 times 10, and then my other height was 11. So 15 times 10 is 150 times 11. So I get 1,650, and these always have to have units just like surface area. So it's inches. However, instead of squared, volume is always going to be cubed because we are filling it up with cubic inches.
Okay, so our next example is also a rectangular prism. And like Miss Nelson said, I'm going to pick my base, what it's sitting on. So let's write in, so our height, like she said, is the one that is not associated with the base. So our height is 9. Our big B is base times height, and that is, like, this is 2, this is 4. I just moved them down from the top. And so that is 2 times 4. Now we're going to put our formula, big B times height, and now we're going to plug in. So our big B is this 2 times 4. Our height is 9. So we have 2 times 4 is 8, times 9, 72 cubic inches. And the way I always remember the cubic is that I envision like we're actually putting like cubes in here, like little, like I think of sugar blocks. And if you've ever bought sugar cubes, they actually come in a prism and they're perfectly in there. Okay, so now we have a triangular prism. Remember, it is the 2. We have a triangle down here and a triangle up here. Those are the bases. Okay, so we have, I just did the one up there because that's where all the measurements are. So our height is the number that is not associated with the base. So our height is 15. Our big B is 1/2 base times height, or, which is the formula for a triangle, base times height divided by 2. I like to write it that way. It's the same exact thing. It just makes more sense to me this way. So our base is 8. Remember, we talked about the way you find the base and height of a triangle is where that right angle is. It's the legs that touch that right angle. So we have the right angle there. So 8 is our base, and 4 is our height. All of that divided by 2. So we're going to come over here. Again, volume of all prisms is big B times H. The big B may change depending on the shape of the base. So we have, I'm going to go ahead and simplify this over here. 2 goes into 4 twice. So I'm getting rid of my denominator over here. So now we have 8 times 2 times 15. 8 times 2 is 16 times 15. Running on a run. Now I lost one place. So our volume is 240. We have inches, so we have cubic inches.
Okay, so our next one, again, now this time they flipped our triangular prism and made it face a different way. So even though it's sitting on a rectangle, I still have to worry about making a triangle my base. So again, my height is going to be what's not included, that's 14. Okay, so like Miss Hall said, I'm looking for that 90-degree mark right here. So that means I'm going to use my 4 and my 9. So it's base times height divided by 2. So it's going to be 4 times 9 divided by 2. My 2 and my 4 will cancel. That leaves me with 2 and 9. So volume equals big B times H. So my big B was going to be my 2 times my 9, because remember, my 2 canceled with my 4 over here, times my height of 14. So that's 18 times 14. So I get 252, and we are in inches cubed. So the next one, if you look at this triangle again, it's facing a different way. Okay, so my height is the leftover piece. And also, if you want to know why we know that this is the height, it connects my 2 bases right here. Okay, so when we have my second triangle in the back and my first triangle in the front, your height always connects the 2 bases. So that's how we know that that's going to be our height. So again, it's base times height divided by 2. So my base is 10, my height is 24, going to divide it by 2. Now 2 will go into both of these numbers, so it doesn't matter which one you cancel with. So I'm going to go with the 10 and do 5 and 24. So volume equals big B times H. My big B, I simplified it to 5 and 24, and then times my 17. So 24 times 5 is 120 times 17. So I get 2,040 inches cubed.
Okay, so as, I don't know if you've noticed, but as Ms. Nelson and I have been going through this, we've been doing some strategies, and I just want to point those out. One thing we're doing is we're marking the bases as we go, so that then there's no doubt when we get over there which one is the base. So if you have a highlighter, get in the habit of doing that. Then filling out this first little where the height and the big B, you'll get worksheets that have these steps for you. And we want you to get in the habit of doing that, because with volume that will really help you keep straight, because our students have trouble with big B and little b. And so this helps you. Big B is always the area of the base. So this is just good strategies for you. So we know this is the 7 is the one that connects our two triangular bases. Again, we have another triangular prism, and so that's going to be our height. And then our big B is going to be base times height divided by 2, because we do have a triangle. And so I'm looking for the right angle mark, and there it is. And so it's going to be 12 times 16 divided by 2. And I'm going to simplify this. So 2 goes into 12 6 times. So then that just makes my formula less complicated when we rewrite it over here. So we have volume equals big B times height by height. I'm going to plug in big B, so we have 6 and 16 left, and then our height was 7. Okay, so I'm going to, when you're multiplying, you can do it in any order you want, order of operations. So I could do 6 times 7 in my head, so I have 42 times 16 left. So I'm going to come down here and do that. So I have 672 cubic inches. Okay, make sure you finish the notes. Come back tomorrow with any questions, or Monday with any questions you might have on how to find volume of prisms. Hi, bye.